Hey, John.
Hey Eric, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing all right. It's been a long weekend. Was another
Surviving.
long weekend. Yeah, surviving. Did get
You've
to do a
been in
couple fun things.
yeah, been in a lot of states in the last week.
Yes. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes. No, I think I mentioned last week we were heading to a wedding in Arizona. Went to the wedding in Arizona. Congratulations to my nephew. It was very nice wedding. It was 100 degrees outside in Arizona, which was a little warmer than I was used to. And then we got back and it was 50. So it was much more comfortable.
Put that sweatshirt back on.
We pushed off Mother's Day for a couple weeks for us because the wedding was on Mother's Day.
Oh,
And we were all traveling and doing things. So we put it off, but we're going to be gone again this weekend. So we're actually putting it off for 2 weeks. So
take a rain check for Mother's Day.
yes.
And
Yeah.
given the weather in Oregon this spring, it will probably be a literal rain check.
Very true. Very true. So how was your weekend?
It was okay. Like nothing super spectacular. Nothing too bad. I didn't get home till I can't complain to you, but I think my flight landed at around 9 on Friday night. And so by the time I was, it was one of those things where I'm like, all right, you gotta smile and just like, it's okay. I didn't have a seat. I got a seat at the kiosk. I'm literally the last row. And then as we're there and I'm like, well, I'm going to be one of the last people off the plane. I had to stand up to let somebody else out. And so I'm basically standing back with the attendants. And I was literally the last person off the plane. And then I come out and I'm like, well, where am I? Because I don't know. You don't pay attention to what gate you're at. I'm like, oh, okay. I'm literally at the last gate on the farthest way, farthest from my car. And they're doing construction at PDX still. And so they've kind of got, bit of a walking labyrinth. But that's fine. Whatever. Walk. Anyway, I got home quite late. And then Saturday, I was trying to remember what we did on Saturday. I know I got into my bees. That was good. My parents are visiting here. So for Mother's Day, we actually were able to take my mother-in-law and my mother and my wife out for lunch. So that was nice. And we kind of did thinking that there'd be quite a few. We tried to get reservations and they were like, parties of 8 or more. We're like, 7. But, whatever. It wasn't too bad. So that was nice. We did see Doctor Strange Saturday night. So that was fun.
So did I.
Oh, okay. I didn't think you would have time, but okay.
Yeah. It was a whirlwind. Because I flew out to Utah on Wednesday evening, picked up daughter number 2, checked her out of her
dorm,
brought her down to grandma's house, and then we had a few hours before we had to wake up. Before we went to bed, because we were waking up early Friday morning to fly to Arizona for the wedding.
Okay.
So Thursday night, we're like, hey, what do you want to do? Let's go see Doctor Strange.
Oh, there you go.
So that's what we did.
Okay.
So,
all right.
And so I assume you took the whole family. It was just me and daughter number 2. We're the only ones who have seen it so far.
Yeah. Yeah, we took the whole family. Not my mother's kind of movie, let's say.
Yeah.
But that's okay. My kids liked it. My wife was like, well, that was interesting. And, in general, the boys were like, yeah, it's cool. They liked the aesthetic.
Right.
And I'm like, okay. There was quite a bit of madness in there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to figure out, like, what are they going to do with Doctor Strange?
Yeah.
I don't know.
They're going to phase him out of the movies, I think.
Yeah. I really liked the Scarlet Witch. So I'm sad that they kind of, sorry, this may be a little bit spoilery, but they made her so powerful. And then, so I don't know.
Fixed it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Definitely not my favorite of movies, of the Marvel movies, but not at the bottom of the heap either. Somewhere in the middle.
All right, what's your worst?
Oh, worst? Aside from the first Hulk movie?
I figured you would say that. Okay, that was the easy one.
That's the easy one. I don't know what would I say the worst is, because I actually liked Ultron. I mean, that one got panned by a lot of people, but I actually kind of liked that one. I'll have to think about that. What's my least favorite Marvel movie?
I'm trying to think too.
I'm going through all the.
I'm going to go with Iron Man 3 for me. I think that one was maybe.
Was that the one where he blew up all the suits?
Yeah.
Where they were in.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's probably a good one. It's probably. Yeah. I don't know. I'd have to look through the list.
Well, you think about it. You can have some homework.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, what did Rotten Tomatoes say about Doctor Strange?
Oh,
you put a Rotten Tomatoes link in here, but I haven't looked at it.
I did. I just popped a link. So the critics gave it 74%, and the audience gave it 87%.
All right, cool. Minor B update while we're still in the intro. They are doing awesome. Mm-hmm. So I just took them more food yesterday.
Good.
I'm excited.
I almost tweeted a picture. So my Twitter feed had some bee-related stuff in California. It was Raspberry Pi and bee-related.
Ooh.
I watched a short video on beekeeping in San Diego, California, which was a solar-powered Raspberry Pi to see if they can predict colony collapse disorder. #SaveTheBees. My Twitter feed is also now being overrun by bee things.
There you go. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well,
it's a sign of some sort.
They have a couple apps, but I think the one that I got an invite to was for Android. So, well, that doesn't help me. Sorry. I'm in the iOS ecosystem over here.
Well, my something fun is on the Android side, so something to look forward to.
All right, there we go. Yeah. Google conference was going on this today.
Google I/O this week.
Have to check in on that. Well, I threw one thing into follow-up here, which I was going to have it as a topic, and then I was like, wait, we talked about this just a couple of weeks ago. Let's see, this was actually in 227. But this is a follow-up to April's Patch Tuesday for Microsoft. Remember, they had those RPC. They had 3 major RPC vulnerabilities. And so the link we'll put in here for follow-up is to an Akamai research blog, who they clearly took a look at the patches that were applied and tried to see if they could, find a vulnerability in the patched software, and did. So
of course.
Yeah, so another vulnerability, and of course they disclosed it responsibly. Microsoft fixed it, within the month. But so it says, let's see, I'm going to read a couple things here. It says, on April 12th, 2022, Microsoft released patches for 3 vulnerabilities in the RPC runtime library. These vulnerabilities were assigned the following CVEs, blah, blah, blah. Affected operating systems are all of them. We found that all 3 vulnerabilities were integer overflows, and that the patch was adding a check to see if an integer overflow occurred. Good thing. Okay. However, the patch only partially addressed the vulnerability. During our research, we found that right before allocating memory for the new coalesced buffer, the code adds another 24 bytes to the allocation size, seen above with the call to the reference to a code section. These 24 bytes are the size of a structure, this RPC con request header, which serves as the buffer header. Since the patch performs the check for integer overflow before adding the header size, it does not take into account the header. So, whoops. So somebody had to do shift down, control shift, and move those lines of code down just a little bit.
Right.
Yeah. So anyway, so this was the little bit of follow up, and then in the article they point out that analyzing patches is a great way to kind of hone in on potential vulnerabilities, and just to see what happens. I mean, we see bad actors doing that all the time to reverse what the patch did, figure out what the vulnerability was. But
right,
especially for non-disclosed things. Anyway, that was I guess the subtext there is that the May Patch Tuesday was just this week, and this was fixed in this patch, and I had thrown that in as a potential topic today, but I don't know. I can't talk about that every month. There's a bunch of stuff every month. Every month there is many of them. You should patch every Tuesday. Kind of a joke. All right. How about topics? What'd you bring me tonight?
So I brought to you, the first one is basically a article on credit card stealing services. And so now we've talked about this and mentioned this before. Your big threat actor groups are basically becoming products. They will sell you a subscription to their malicious card skimmer scripts and show you all the stuff, how to get them into hacked e-commerce websites. You pay them money. You run the thing. You run the tools. They have tech support, all that good stuff. Yeah. So this is a credit card stealing service called, from a Russian cybercrime organization called Caramel Corp, which basically allows any threat actor, the hyphenated word used here is any low-skilled threat actor, can now have an easy and automated way to get started in the world of financial fraud. So right now, this group is only selling their service to Russian-speaking threat actors, and they're actually vetting the process, making sure you're actually a Russian speaker and not just, using Google Translate really quick to answer their questions.
Huh.
And if you are a Russian low-skilled threat actor for $2,000, you can get started in financial fraud. I'm picturing like those ads on the back of magazines or something like that. You too, right?
how to get your start in the world of financial fraud? Oh, low price of $2,000.
Yeah.
That's brutal.
And then my second one is, I just saw this today. They're F5, big IP. So these are big monstrous routers that, support the internet kind of thing. They, a company called F5, there is a vulnerability, and the vulnerability allows attackers to get root privilege on the operating system that powers these devices. And what the attack is being used for currently is the command attempts to erase all the files on the IP router. So it's a destructive attack. So this is not ransomware. This is not something else. So it's kind of unique in that aspect. Typically, at least more recently, it's been a ransomware or a way to, an extortion scheme. This one is rm-rf/star, which is delete everything from the root. Right? So anyways.
I did not actually read this article. I'm opening it up. So it is a new vulnerability. Okay. 2022-1388. Because I was like, I know we talked about F5s, but it's been a while. And so I happen to have the RSS up in another tab here. So I just, Command F5. Right. I don't know if you know this, but F5 shows up in a lot more GUIDs than it does in anything else. Anyway, but we did talk about F5, different vulnerability, clearly. But it was almost 2 years ago, right. Like July of 2020. Anyway, I just thought that was kind of, I don't know, I thought that was kind of funny. It was in episode 135, Fit for a Viking. It must have been when I was doing my mead.
That sounds about right.
Pretty funny, huh? Okay. Anyway,
all right. So there you go. Those are the two things that caught my eye this week.
Well, I only threw one thing into the topic since I used my other for follow-up. But this is a... Hey, how are you feeling about cryptocurrencies at the moment?
Oh, I love cryptocurrencies. I have invested my entire retirement in cryptocurrencies. I'm going to be rich.
So, as we speak, for future reference, the crypto has taken a major crash here in the last couple of days. Bitcoin down to 20 something thousand?
27. Which is hilarious because, was it 5 years ago? It was at 1,000.
I know.
6 years ago, it was 300.
I know.
Whenever I sent you that $5 worth of Bitcoin, that's now worth 60.
Well, it was worth 70. Now I was going to say now it's probably down to 50.
Right.
Yeah, if you'd only given me $5,000 instead of $5, I might have paid more attention. That's a joke. So this is a DeFi hack. But it was another DNS attack. So this is mm.finance. So I'm sorry. My opinions on crypto are probably transparent in this podcast. If not, then I need to loosen up my sarcasm filter a little bit. So I don't know what mm.finance is. It says it is the, what does it say? It says Finance is the largest DeFi ecosystem on Kronos chain. It's clear that this article was a translation. Just, a lot of the language is, a little non-native. Okay, that's fine. Anyway, but this is Finance was the subject of a DNS attack earlier, where an attacker managed to inject a malicious contract address into the front-end code. The attacker used a DNS vulnerability to modify the router contract address in our hosted files. So that okay, not quite. That doesn't help me entirely. Remember the Korean attack a couple of months ago that they basically they routed an attempt to get a JavaScript file to a malicious JavaScript by a DNS attack. So
correct.
This isn't quite clear to me here. Because you inject a malicious contract address into the front-end code. So maybe when he says front-end code, that means what gets loaded into the browser generally. So could be something similar. So they, instead of pulling their website, they get tricked into pulling a malicious version of the website that you're trying to send some money to one address, and it happily replaces the address behind the scenes and takes your money. So there's stuff that happens it's at least every week because there's so much fraud and scamminess in this ecosystem, unfortunately.
Right.
But this particular one says this resulted in users who interacted with our mm.finance site from May the 4th, be with you, to lose funds upon performing the following actions: swaps, adding or removing liquidity. And when victims navigated to mm.finance to remove liquidity, the malicious router kicked in and the LPs, I don't know what LPs are, liquidity points? I don't know, were withdrawn to the attacker's address. And approximately $2 million was compromised and bridged over to the Ethereum network via multi-chain, I'm reading this verbatim, followed by laundered by Tornado Cash. So
right. So they ran it through some tumblers to try to.
I assume that's what I was going to say. I assume Tornado Cash is
yeah, make it less
an
less
attempt
easy.
at anonymization.
Yeah.
Anywho, yep, that's a good point. So, they're trying to figure out how to fix this, obviously. Then, or not fix, but prevent similar thing from happening in the future. Say they're removing 2 service providers from their stack. That's interesting. And this is interesting. The DNS attack has already occurred, and our consequent actions will now nullify potential follow-up attempts from this attacker. So I would hope so for that particular thing. But apart from the price action that came from the selling of our tokens from the malicious wallet, there should not be any other consequential impact on our ecosystem coins. that felt a little bit to me about like, well, other than sinking, the Titanic's fine. I don't know.
Yeah.
But they do say that they're setting up a compensation pool, but they don't really say like how much is going to be in there. Like, compensation pool of 0.1%, and then you can get some fraction of that. Anyway, but so it sounds like they are trying to reimburse some amount, but this doesn't. That's not the sort of thing that can, continue indefinitely. I don't know. Anyway, this was just one of the things that floated across, and I was like, okay, I think it's time for another crypto hack. So anyway, they say the madness resumes. Okay, go ahead.
All right.
There you go. So that was the article that I pulled out this week.
My something fun kind of goes along a little bit with your article.
Oh, really? Okay. Tell.
I will bridge that gap here.
Okay.
So today was Google I/O. So I watched various bits and pieces of the keynote and jumped around through it just to see what's new this year at Google I/O. They bragged about the new Pixel 7. They're going to start doing an iPad. It sounds like they're going to get serious with an iPad competitor. They have the new Google Watch, so they're going to go head to head with the Apple Watch. Their watch is round, Apple's is square. They throughout the, as I was jumping around, they had a few.
I would like to say that this is a rounded rectangle. Thank you very much.
They had a number of digs at Apple throughout kind of the keynote, which to be expected. But the themes that I picked up on, Google is really pushing artificial intelligence,
AI, all the things,
security, all the things, and privacy, all the things. They are coming out with a new.
Okay,
I know.
I'm sorry. Pardon that. Sorry. Hashtag skepticism on.
Yes. So they're coming out with a new tool that allows you to link. It's called. I don't remember what it's called, but I took away. It was essentially ads I care about. You can go into your Google account, and there'll be a new section on ads for me, and you can say, I only want to see ads about X, Y, or Z, and they'll have categories. Electric cars or clothing or whatever. So you can pick some things, and you can actually do never show me ads about, I don't drink, so I would click the never show me ads about alcohol. You're not going to, I'm not, it's a waste for you. So,
yeah.
And they also bragged a number of times about some of the things that they're now changing it so that you can ask your dingus to respond to certain keywords without using the command word, right? Okay.
Sorry, I almost said
my
it.
friend.
Yeah.
And that they're doing that all on device, not shipping it up to the cloud. So Google never sees it. They've got some new password things that they're doing that, and they talked about, we never see it. So anyways, but to bridge from your article, they have a number of translations. So they've increased the number of languages that they can translate from.
Okay.
And they've come up with new models. They were explaining that normally models go from, you take one language that you know about and two languages, and then you map the phrases together, and then you train your model on those phrases. They have come up with a single language model where it can analyze the entire, book or whatever, and they're trying to do it for languages that are less represented, that don't have a lot of speakers. Mm-hmm. And they've been training these models, and they're getting pretty good. But my something fun specifically is an app that caught my eye. It's called AI Test Kitchen.
Okay.
And I loved this part of the presentation. This one was very fascinating because it was all about, hey, we're just going to train this AI on, it was 540 billion features of, basically they trained it on the entire, an encyclopedia of, they trained it on Google. basically. Is kind of
I
what
feel
it
like
felt like.
Microsoft did this a
And
couple of years ago on like a chatbot, and it turned racist really awful fast.
yes. Yes. And so
Did they allude
I'll
to
get to that point.
that? Okay.
They did. They'll get to that point. So they went through and, like, hey, you can do these imagine if prompts. So it has like 3 prompts: an imagine if prompt, a list it prompt, and I don't remember what the other one was. But anyways, like it's like, hey, you can type in you're a marshmallow volcano, or let's see, yeah, or you can say, hey, imagine that you're a marshmallow volcano, and then see what the AI comes back with. And the AI came back with, oh, you're at a marshmallow volcano. It's erupting marshmallows. You hear a giant rumble and you feel the ground shake. Marshmallows are flying everywhere. And that was the prompt, and that was the response from the AI. And, if you say, okay, well, what does it smell like? It turns around and says it smells like marshmallows, obviously. You can smell it all around you. But the thing that you alluded to is, so they're going to be rolling out this AI test kitchen in the next coming months, but it will not be publicly available on the Play Store for just anybody to download. Google still hasn't fully decided how they're going to offer access, but they implied it was going to kind of be this invitation-only thing, probably reaching out to academics, researchers, policymakers, et cetera, to see if they would like to try it out. The article quotes here, Google wants to push the app out in a way where people know what they're signing up for when they use it, knowing that it will say inaccurate things. It will say things, that are not representative of a finished product. So kind of saying, look, we've built this really cool thing. We think it's really cool, but what we trained it on, there are horrible things that exist with what we trained it on, and you could probably get it to say some not just wrong things,
no doubt,
but horrible things. So, anyways, so the Google I/O conference is going on. The keynotes were today. I skimmed through a bunch. Found some websites that did the top 10 things you need to know from Google I/O, and looked at a couple of things. This one I thought was kind of fascinating. They did a few other presentations on it. It was kind of cool. Anyway, so there's my something fun.
I've seen a similar thing mentioned. I think it's OpenAI or something like that, where you could give it like prompts and it would then generate art from it. So Picasso, but in Leonardo da Vinci style or something like that, and it would hypothetically put something together.
Right.
But also invite. I went to look at it. I got suckered in by somebody who put up a snarky tweet that said it was by OpenAI, and I was like, that image is way too good. And then I went and I looked at it. I was like, oh, duh. He's just being
right.
Saying it was generated by AI when it really wasn't. It was a real thing. Anyway, but it's interesting. Oh, one other comment. So, cross-lingual model is what you're mentioning there. XLM. Yeah, that's some promising work. So, yeah, very cool. Okay, so my something fun is a little thing. It's a baby something fun, and it's really it's okay. Just a tweet, but it's a tweet about a steganography technique. Steganography is just for refresher maybe, or for people that might not know, it's the act of hiding a message within another item, I guess. So in particular, for many things, you can hide messages inside images, inside videos, inside text documents, inside anything. You could choose to use the number of spaces between words as a binary. One space is a 0.
Right.
Or maybe one space means nothing, 2 spaces is a 0, and 3 spaces is a 1. And then, there you go.
Sure.
Now you could decode, hiding a message inside something else. But so this tweet is about using Huffman trees or encoding, which is used by file formats like PNGs, for example, to basically, so it says, quote, it hides data as mistakes made by the compression algorithm. Each suboptimal compression decision encodes a bit. So basically, the way a Huffman tree works is it's got variable length encoding based on the frequency of, text in, and normally it's used for text, or frequency of the the bit that's being used, bytes that are being done. Anyway,
right.
But so basically, this is saying, oh well, maybe this could be represented by 2 bits, but instead I'll use 3, and then you could use the third bit as a bit of the embedded message. So the novelty here, although he did link to a paper that I looked at from 2012, so it's the general concept has been done before, but it was he had a nice gist here of the code showing how he did it. But anyway, he says, quote, I think this is novel because it doesn't hide data in the pixels themselves or even in the file metadata. The most conceptually similar video research I found is this, and that's the link to the paper. But it said it can hide data at relatively high ratios too. The 55 kilobyte image in the sample here actually encodes 3 kilobytes of embedded data. So that's pretty good from a size perspective. You can think of like a simple steganography technique is just to use the alpha channel or use the least significant bit in a bitmap or something like that. But the tricky thing about doing steganography is doing it in a way that it's hard to see, or for that a computer could see that there's something hidden in there. So like if you use the least significant bit and then you just look at the bit values or the byte values of the colors, it can be very obvious that something weird is happening in that.
Right.
And it's easier to decide that when you could train a model on that too to try and detect. Anyway, that stuff was all been done. But anyway, I thought this was a clever little technique, and thought I'd add that for my something fun. So there you go.
Very cool. I've enjoyed steganography, ideas on steganography, how you hide things.
Yeah.
So
well, here you go.
Just fun little things to do. All right, dude.
All right, short one tonight, but I think we're both tired.
Yeah, I will talk to you tomorrow.
Talk to you later, Eric. Have a good night.
Yep, you too.
Bye.
Bye.